Good evening and welcome to your immediate post-match reaction after the Rangers have won a game, which is always nice. Beating Motherwell 1-0. My name's Ian Mitchell. I'm joined with JB. We'll chat through the game, go through I was going to say the highs and the lows, but the mediocre and extreme here. But JB, what's your initial thoughts? How do you think that went? What's your feeling at full time here?
Yeah, I think it's one of relief. Probably, I think it was a textbook on how to not see a game out. It felt like at times. We were looking at the XG after the game. I think it was 4 solid. So that is a step forward. But towards the end there, that we should have been out of sight. I think in terms of the game itself, I thought it was two teams that wanted to get the ball down. They wanted to play. I thought Motherwell had the better of the chances, and but I think first half, but one goal was always going to win it, and thankfully it fell for us. So, no, we'll take the 3 points, get up the road, and just as we've been saying, any time we do seem to win, we don't seem to be winning convincing, but just get the points on the board and just keep putting pressure on the teams in and around us and see where we land.
Yeah, I think especially after the Hearts result today, it was important that we got 3 points. Obviously, we saw Celtic were behind. I'm pretty sure they won in the end, so keep pace with them at least. But we'll go right back to the lineups and the starting 11 here. A few things that we were, I'll say, concerned about. Asgard came back into the starting lineup. Not really sure why, in terms of ahead of some people. But alongside that, we had the same three in midfield where Raskin, Diomande, Barron, I think we all know at this point it's not perfect. It doesn't quite complement each other very well. And Tav back in for Aaron's among a couple other changes. But what did you think when you seen that lineup? I know, again, as I touched on when we saw the team, there's not going to be a lineup that we're excited by at this point. But was that a worry before kickoff?
I would say so. Yeah, I think the concern for me was, as we seem to say most weeks, who's going to score the goals, who's going to create the goals. You go through that start 11 again, and you're looking through, and you're going, on his day he might be able to do something. On his day he might be able to do something, but they've shown so many times this season that there's just no consistency there, and there's no one you can kind of hang your hat on. And I think today very much felt like that. It wasn't as if anybody was pulling the strings. But probably a shout out to Conor Barron. I thought his performance
Just
today.
the usual shout.
Yeah, he just covered. There wasn't a lot of quality on show from Conor Barron. But one thing that we've been crying out for is a bit of heart and a bit of drive, and that's one thing he definitely did show. To be fair to him, and it was, I say, we could have been sitting in a whole different mood. I think if we'd have put that game to bed, probably on anything from the 85th minute, when we were creating 3 or 4, it was like a training match, just opening them up. But not one of them ever looked confident going through on goal, whether it be Curtis a couple of times, Biofsky a couple of times, Cameron had a chance towards the end.
It's not even they look confident. Like, we don't fancy them, do we?
No.
Through, like, who's going to ruin it? Who's going to make the overplay? Who's going to pass it the wrong side? Who's going to have the shot that goes off target? And yeah, we'll get to that. There's quite a few to slate, sadly, on the way through, but we'll try and keep it as upbeat as possible. We won, so again, that's the main thing. But all my notes in the first half are Butland, a big save. Butland saves with his legs. Butland with a big save. There was a lot of that in the first 20 minutes, especially, was all Motherwell. If we go back to then, I don't think we had much of the ball. The team was kind of all over the place, especially in midfield, but it's a very rocky start.
Yeah, it was. I think in terms of Motherwell's movement, I mean, if you take the blue tinted glasses on, obviously we're always going to look at it from our angle, but their movement was really good, especially where we sit. There's Andrew Kavanagh giving us a wee wave. The where we were sitting, you can see the movements, the play break coming to life before it actually does. There was the little midfielder, Elijah Just, I think someone you called out before the game, and it's very tidy. His movement was brilliant, and Tom Sparrow, just them two just seemed to kept making space for themselves, and they were in acres, and every time they kind of got forward, it looked like they had 2 or 3, 4, 5 men. I said to you just before half time, Sterling and Fernandez have actually played quite well.
Yep.
But then you flip that to say, yeah, but we've conceded like 5 or 6 really good chances against us. So are they not doing something right? But I genuinely think it was down to Motherwell's movement and quality of composure. They look like a really well coached team.
That composure word's really evident. My next note is about Trimiti breaking through and trying to shoot, but it somehow goes for a throw-in flex off himself and for a throw-in on the halfway line. It was just textbook. That's kind of what we expect from our team when you're watching a team who don't have quality players as such. They've not got guys who you would immediately think, oh, he would improve us, or they would improve us. They're also missing their main man up front in Mawanise, and I've probably said that wrong again. But it just kind of shows you what a drilled team should look like, and a well-coached team. And that's not a slight on Danny Rowe, it's more a slight on the players we have. And yeah, again, we'll say that enough this season. The second half of the first half was better. You know, it was a bit more attacking from Rangers, had a few half chances. Gassama was in front of us here cutting in. No great chances from us, but it was something. And what I said to you at half time was, it's hard to tell if this is good from us or just not terrible, the way that first part of the game was.
Right. I said at half time to one of the lads in the media room, I said, I think if you were a neutral, I think you'd actually really enjoy the game. So that's, as you say, we created a couple of really good, we got into really good positions. At no point did we ever look clinical. Thought there was a couple of really bizarre refereeing decisions in the first half, especially the one Chimiti done quite well to break away from, was it McGinn? I think McGinn then just pulls him back, and then Chimiti has a chance with a weak finish. It was a yellow card all day. But
absolute textbook yellow.
It was just dead easy. It was an easy one to tap in for the referee, but as I say, we know that the standards up here, just starting the refereeing in general, it's just nowhere where it needs to be. But yeah, I think the first half, I think if we'd have scored, you'd probably say, oh, we probably just edged it. I think what really stood out was Jack Butland was immense today. I don't mean his kicking wasn't great, but in terms of his position and his one-on-ones, it was he definitely kept us in it. There was even one in the second half, which we'll get to. But he was, as we keep saying, it's just this group of players that there doesn't seem to be anyone that wants to take that level of responsibility, wants to grab the game by the scruff of the neck. Whether we'll get to Derek Johnston's comments, I know we didn't really caught the tail end of it, but we'll kind of, that is what we need, and we are needing a bit of people who actually show that they care, people who show that they're giving 100%, because a lot of the players just feel as if they're going through the motions and will wait for somebody else to do something. How many times have we said that this season? Gassama a few times in the first half, me and you were screaming for them to make a run in behind, but he just wants it to feet, and then when he gets it to feet, he was wanting to just recycle it back in. The players need the player. I appreciate you need to start winning games and having runs of games to build the confidence up, but they do look like a really broken group at the moment in terms of when they're in possession. And actually, when we went 1-0 up, the players actually started to play a little bit, started taking a couple little bit more risk.
It shows a fragility, but doesn't it? They need to be ahead and something positive to get the fans up. And then they relax. Yeah, the
mindset's really poor. But back to the initial question. First half, as I say, I thought it was. I'm sure if you watch the highlights back, you'll probably see it was a lot more balanced than what it actually was. But it was, it was just missing that goal from the first half.
Yeah, and it takes us into half time. And as we say, Derek Johnson was doing the half time draw today. We missed some of it, but you can obviously hear kind of echoes, and you can hear the announcement through the bottom of the stadium where we had to go to. But his comments were all around basically ripping into this Rangers team, and as I tweeted it out, it was understandable. He called out the lack of leadership, saying back in his day you had 11 Scottish lads fighting for one another, winning their battles, fighting together, basically, which this squad doesn't do. And what we have to endure today is a shadow of those squads. And it probably the biggest cheer of the day, certainly to that point, because it's just what everyone's thinking. You know, these guys aren't, well, they're not fighting for each other, might be a little harsh, but there is no leadership. It's what I've been crying out for all season. It's what January has to fix. And he obviously ended his rant with no surrender, which always gets a good cheer as well. So
I think he'd had a couple of Christmas sherries before he got on the mic. But,
he might not be invited back.
It was good to see a bit. It was just good to hear a bit of passion within the club, and pre-match as well. We got to hear Liam McCulloch briefly doing the new Edmondson House, and he spoke really well about the passion that's needed to play for Rangers, and that he didn't obviously go in to say that the players are going through the motions, but he's almost said there's a league title here to be won. It'd be great if the players could actually show that there was a league title to be won, as opposed to, as I say, going through the motions. So I'm just watching Kieran Dahl take a corner there. It's absolutely pathetic. But there you go.
The joy never ends here, clearly. It's into the second half itself. Rangers start pretty well. One half chance where Gassama beats his man. Chimiti has a back heel effort, and then Moore can't scramble it in. We do score, but it's offside that time. Took a bit of a while for a VAR check, but it's basically Chermiti is standing in the way of the goalie, so he's impeding him. It's rightfully offside. I think just classic luck for Chermiti, obviously at that point. Who played? Did he play well? I don't. My standards for him are very low, so a couple of nice touches, a couple of layoffs that look okay. He's trying. You know, again, he's not. I don't think he's ever going to be the 8 million signing that he should be. I don't think he's ever going to be an absolute superstar here, but we got something out of him. He had his moments today.
Yeah, he's awful. I mean,
sugarcoating it.
He's terrible, isn't he? I mean, you shouldn't feel sorry for these guys, but I mean, he's a young lad, and I think you said, if he was a young 17-year-old Scottish lad, you'd kind of be saying, right, just got to bear with him.
You'd be excited by him, because he has tools.
He's got the physique, but it's just that his brain doesn't seem to do. I don't think his legs are doing what his brain wants to do. There was one in the second half where the ball come across to him. Gassama slipped them in, and it was like, just take a good touch and a good finish, 1-on-1, loads of time, and he fell.
I think that's confidence, composure, attitude. What is that? Because
it's got its composure. I think he almost looks. He panics. He panics when when he's in the danger area.
How can a striker panic? If you made it to a professional football level as a striker, surely you have that composure just naturally built in. I know not every striker's like that, but surely you've got something about you that when you're in front of goal, you're excited, not nervous. Because that's how he looks to me. He looks nervous.
I think there's a reason why he's only scored 4 goals in his career. Do you know what I mean? Playing for Sporting Lisbon, going down to Everton, and obviously didn't show anything at all at Everton at any level, whether that was the under-21s, the under-23s, the first team. Nobody down there seen anything within him that suggested that he was going to go on to have a good career. Unfortunately, except for Kevin Felwell, sorry. So I think we're just bearing the brunt of that at the moment, and I do wonder whether the manager is getting a little bit of pressure in terms of. When I say pressure, he might be seeing it as something else in training, and it's almost a case of we just need to release him, and he just needs that run of games to maybe show what he can do. My concern is we're not seeing glimpses of a striker. We're seeing glimpses of a footballer, but I would like to think that anybody could do that. The big young lad who's on loan at Wraith Rovers,
Gentles.
Yeah. There's not much between Josh Gentles and Chermiti. I'm sorry. I don't think there's a lot to him, and he's not getting a game for Wraith Rovers. So in terms of levels, in terms of what he's showing us at the moment, there's just nothing there. The manager did talk last week about maybe the goal that he scored against Hearts, albeit it was a good consolation. You might kick him on a wee bit, but judging again by today, as you said, the bar is that low that even a simple 5-yard pass, we're trying to build them up. But no, it's just it's a really poor one, and it's something that I definitely think that is going to need addressed in January, because even when Miofsky come on there, he's come on to just to be clinical and just put games to bed for us.
The way he came on today, I know we're skipping over the goal a little bit, so we'll work backwards, but the way Miofsky's came on today, a striker's really licking his lips going, right, Motherwell are pushing forward, they're going for it, we're going to have chances on the break, and we do. As I'm watching Miofsky going through his paces here in front of us, he should be coming on going, right, I'm going to get a goal or two here, this is built for me. And he could have, again, maybe the wrong pass at times from others, stopped that, but that one, it gets to the boot like a cross, and he just stumbles on it. It's just classic Rangers strike. I think it's the same thing Chermiti will be doing. Danilo, again, is probably worst out of the 3 for me in terms of offering nothing. So, yeah, that's the priority for January for sure. But we will try and go a bit more positive because we do score.
Yes.
It's very good play from Gassama, who the second half was much better.
Yeah.
What I said to you was that Gassama has started treating this as if he's playing against Motherwell.
Yes.
All due respect, I know they're having a good season. They're still sort of full of players of like the lower half of the league kind of thing. Guys who Gassama should be standing up and taking on and getting past, putting the ball through their legs, beating his man, getting cross in, getting shots away, and he cuts back on his left here. Good shot, great save by the goalie, Callum Ward, who was decent as well from Motherwell today. But Asgard is in the right place, right time. Again, not a player who was great today in any sense, but he got a goal. You know, we needed someone to be in the right place at the right time, and albeit I thought it was offside. it was close-ish, but massive moment. Hopefully it kicks him on a bit. Again, whether he sees that happens, another thing, but biggest moment of the game.
Yeah, no, it was. It almost seemed too good to be true. And the fact that we attacked at pace, we were quite really direct, as you say. Good save from the goalkeeper, and you just see it was too good to be true. In the fact that I was convinced he was offside.
Yep.
There was no one near him, and you're thinking, oh, just wait, first glance at the flag, and then check. Obviously, they're waiting for the VAR announcement, but no, he took it. He was in the right space, right
It's the
place,
same as
right
the
time.
Diamandi one. If you remember, was it against? Was it Livingston here? Maybe
Livingston,
the late goal.
Yeah.
Just you can play badly. Just be in the right place at least.
That's
That
it.
was a moment kind of thing.
Right, that's it. And again, he's another one, Asgard, who I think we all have big hopes for in the summer. He's one I was really looking forward to. Speaking to a few lads down there, and they were all saying this lad's got it. Like if you can get him playing, he'll be a bit of a game changer for you. But we just haven't seen a couple of nice touches. There's a few times, especially at 0-0 in the first half. Again, where we're sitting, you're looking right on top of it, and he was standing behind the opposition, almost as if he was hiding.
Yeah, I can get the ball, I've got a man on me.
Aye, and it was just a case of, well, if you spin 5 yards into space, the referee, David Dickinson, was getting into space without too much bother, by a little 5 yard jog, and it was almost a case of they're just waiting for. I keep saying it, but they're just waiting for somebody else to take that bit of responsibility. As I say, hopefully, again, as you say, he can kick on with this, because again, Tuesday's another big game. I'm not too sure who Hearts have got. I think they've got to go away to Motherwell, which won't be easy. I think Motherwell showed today that they've got a bit, as we've touched on a couple of times. They're missing. I think they're just probably missing a striker. Motherwell. I think if Motherwell had a Lauren Shanklin type today.
I swear, if that man when he says here, that's going to be very different.
We'd have been in bother. But I think yeah. In terms of Asgard, though, I think we just need to take the win and just. As I say, we've got to hobble over to January, and this team's definitely going to need 3 or 4 starters. Not 3 or 4 as good as what's there. We need to go out and whether that be via investment or whether it be via getting some established loan players in. But whoever it is, they're going to need to hit the ground running, because whether we like it or not, there is a title race there, and I don't ask me how. But I think if we can string a little run together, go to Parkhead and potentially get a win there, or even a draw. Just keep everything ticking over, and just take it week by week, because it doesn't look like anybody's going to run away from anyone. Really
good comment from Luke here. Too many players play with a handbrake on.
100%. Yep, can't argue with that, Luke Gibson. 100%. They're almost a case of let's see what else can happen, and then if I need to step up, then I will. As opposed to being right, I'm all in here. This is on me. We're actually just watching Kieran Dale in the warm up. He's cutting balls back for John Suter. Just looks bad. But anyway, that's not this picture.
Yes, still some of the game to discuss. Barron got a booking for looking at the ref, I think, which was mental. As
that was weird.
We had a strange game. 2 or 3 Stonewall yellow card from Motherwell, didn't get given. Rangers' first chance for booking. Yeah, but it's just classic.
There wasn't even a chance. It was just nothing.
It took us all by surprise, but why should we be surprised at any point? There is a Motherwell penalty shout, which then does lead to Curtis should score, puts it over, but kind of guy you'd want in that position. The Motherwell penalty at the time looked worrying, I'll say. You obviously got the replay up, and you can see I think it's Suter puts his leg across, maybe doesn't fully commit to it, and the Motherwell boy sees the leg and just goes down. Again, we're the wrong side of it, so maybe someone's seen it better than us in the comments, kind of thing. But a scary moment, and just it's testament to when you don't go 2-0 up, you don't get the second, get the third. A moment like that can change everything.
Yeah, if you don't put games to bed, it doesn't matter what level it is. I think it's almost the case if you need to. We certainly had the chance. It was encouraging to see. Sure. I think when you watch the game back, actually probably a bit more relaxed, you'll probably look at it and go, "Well, we actually played quite well." Again, just really missing that clinicalness. Just watching Danilo doing his warm down. He's like someone from the Masters, isn't he? It's quite sad to see, unfortunately. But I think in terms of seeing games out, if that had been a 2-3-0 today, you probably wouldn't have argued against it.
Even at that, like obviously we're focused on the pure start, and Bolton's had to make a lot of big saves. See if you win 2 or 3-0, you kind of get brainwashed into like, well, that was really good.
Aye,
That was really enjoyable. And
Aye.
I think the players would have the same feeling. That was comfortable.
Yeah.
Again, a big game on Tuesday. We could have rested a couple, made a few different subs. Obviously, we get the subs in the end, but they're getting 5-10 minutes. Whereas if you're comfortable, those guys get half an hour. Just the chain of positivity that can bring.
Aye.
But, yeah, you're kind of clanging on.
Sterling, for example, we've had we're having Sterling to. We can't afford to take him off. I think he was another bright spark today.
Of course, yeah.
Everything he seems to be doing is really good.
Just assured, isn't he?
Aye, he's really assured.
Confident in himself,
Aye.
knows that if he does his job, he's fine. And I think, like you touched on, him and Fernandes, there's something there. They're both finding their feet. They're both kind of getting to know each other's games a bit. But also, we're seeing Suter going through his paces here. Looks exhausted because he's running length of the pitch every 2 seconds. But I don't know if him coming back should come straight back in. In terms of, if you look at Tuesday night, do you start Suter? Do you rest Sterling maybe and just to give him a rest? Do you put him right back?
Mm-hmm.
Nice options probably, but I wouldn't mind going with these two centre back for a while.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think we need to start planning for next season, which is as tragic as that is. We need to start planning for next season and start to think about, right, well, what are we working with? Whilst obviously winning games, but one eye on next season and giving these guys a right good run. I know there was times last season when we were saying, right, let's give Enciala a run. that was obviously when we were out of the league title. Okay, right, well, what can he do? Let's see what he's all about. Yep. But I think we just need to. The Sterling one's an interesting one. I was saying it to my dad Colin on the way up. It was almost a case of Sterling's our best right back, our best centre half, our best central midfielder, and probably based on this current squad, probably our best right winger as well. I think in terms of managing his load, I think in terms of him playing centre half, probably feels sensible. But however, you've seen it today a couple of times where he does step into the right wing. He plays with purpose, very direct, and he's got something about him as well. So, yeah, we're just going to need to. I'll let you choke away there. I think we're just going to need to. We're going to need to be sensible with him because. Well, even if we only get an hour out of them for the next few weeks, next few months, it's good hours. It's all getting built up, getting his load up, and then as I say, John Suter's got to come back in, and he's got to want to play for him to have a chance to go in the World Cup. So no, it's positive to start getting some of these lads back from injury and then see where we land.
Yep, and we saw Barron given man of the match in the stadium. Again, you touched on he was good. I would give it Butland personally. What were you thinking there?
Yeah, I wouldn't argue with that. I think Butland was definitely probably our most influential player today. It goes to show where this team is at the moment. The fact that the fans are appreciating people working hard first as opposed to ability. I mean, there was times today where Conor Barron was running past 2 or 3 Rangers players to make tackles.
Yeah, but he's the difference that makes, and he can't make those tackles.
So that's probably why he was booked. But it was almost a case of you could see that he to be fair, I'm probably doing a bit of a disservice. To be fair, because he did show glimpses of quality as well at times. Quite a bit of composure in the central midfield. That's not what he's there for. Yeah. Very similar to Cammy Devlin the Hearts. He should just be in there as a little bit of a destroyer. Yep. I think if Conor Barron could ping passes and create chances, he wouldn't be here. It was a really good performance from him. But I agree with you. I thought that Jack Butland kept us in it with 3 or 4 really good saves. One in the second half was top draw down to his right hand side. So so we go.
Yes, so that was us. Again, missed a couple of chances at the end. Should have made it more comfortable. I think Moore misses one. Curtis missed a couple. Majowski's a bit slow to react, but got over the line. Very similar to Hibs game. Just got over the line. We also had disappointment last week, but try and rebuild some momentum on Tuesday night. That's all we can do. I think we'll leave it there. We've had a time. A good time, not sure, but had a time. Again, like we're saying, just win games of football. And we won't complain too much. We're back tomorrow night. I think it'll be myself hosting. We'll see. Just to go over the game, a bit more detail, look ahead to Tuesday, and then we'll be back here on Tuesday in the cold, hopefully watching another Rangers win, but we shall see. So thanks for joining us all. Again, any likes in the stream is always appreciated. Subscribe if you're not. We really appreciate that as always. But thanks for joining us and enjoy the rest of your night. Cheers.